Big up, everybody. It's your boy, Mark, and MUFC fan, and you know what it is. It's Man United time. It's news for Manchester United and all the fans. It's been some chaos going on in the transfer window. Lots of wild reports floating around, rumors of hijacks. But is it really a hijack for Mbwemo, or is it Manchester United trying to hijack Vanko Milinkovic Savic from, you know, that Italian club that he plays for? It's an interesting one, and it's going to be an interesting recap, guys, as we talk about some of the rumors swirling around. Of course, we know there's a possibility that Gyokeres, you know, everybody's wondering if he's going to Arsenal, if he's going to Man United. Arsenal is set to sign Benjamin Sesko, or are they not? What is happening? I don't care about what Arsenal does. I care about what Manchester United does. Big up to everyone joining. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe. It's your boy Mark N, and you know what it to do. Let's get into the show. Let's talk about it because Manchester United are set to ramp up negotiations with Brian and Mbwemo. That deal should be done shortly. As you know, there have been rumors that, the striker might be thinking of a reunion with Thomas Frank over at Spurs. But at this point in the deal, Brian Mbwemo is still focused on Manchester United. So, guys, there may be some delays, but I don't think it's going to be a hijack for Mbwemo. But as we are speaking, there are some deals to be done as some clubs are fearing a hijack from Manchester United. And when I say some clubs, guys, I'm referring to the fact that there is some interest in Manchester United for a goalkeeper. And the goalkeeper we're talking about is Vanya Milinkovic Savic and from Torino and Napoli are currently in negotiations with the player. They have launched an 18 million euro bid today, and it's 15 million pounds. Man United have been said to be looking at the player. Could Man United be planning to hijack this goalkeeper this summer? Now, guys, it's an interesting one. Andre Nana is said to have been stating that he wants to stay and fight for his place to try to show that he's one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. But there are reports that Manchester United will accept a bid if it comes into their liking that comes from Saudi, and they would put the ball into Onana's court. Of course, he's had a terrible first two seasons at Manchester United. Not so good last season, but even worse this season. And people could say that, well, the team is not doing too well, but at the same time, you need to have good hands if you're a goalkeeper. And Onana does not strike me as a guy that has good hands. I don't know about you guys in the chat, but let me know what you're thinking because realistically, I don't even understand how we became to sign this player. I disagreed. I don't know if it's Ten Hag. If it's Ten Hag, I blame him for that. But that player is not the player that we should have signed at any point in time. It's one of those funny situations, guys, that just happened at Manchester United, and we don't know why. We don't even know how. But it still happened anyway. And moving on from that, because there's some interest in EMi Martinez, who is said to be on a fee of 40 million pounds and is very much interested in coming to Manchester United. There's some reports stating that Manchester United interested, and there are some reports that stating that Manchester United are making an active approach for the player. However, I would like to say that Manchester United have actively approached and inquired on Gianluigi Donnarumma as well. So it's going to be an interesting thing. It could be a ploy for Manchester United just to, find out some things, put some feelers out there, give some impressions. You never know. But the real topic, and I'm glad my brother's in the back. I'm gonna drop the link because I know this topic here is gonna get my buddy upset. But let me see it. Let me drop it out for him because I wouldn't be a good friend if I didn't say it myself. You know, big up to my brother Hayden Pro in the building, and I'm going to talk about one of his favorite players, and it's none other than Ousmane Diomande because it's very relevant. An interesting option that has become available in the transfer window with interest for the Premier League. It's very interesting that I'm going to be mentioning what I'm mentioning, but Crystal Palace. Richard Glasner, it has given the all clear for Crystal Palace to ongoing incur negotiations for the player. Sorry about that. But now Crystal Palace have open talks today for Ousmane Diomande. It's said that the club will be open to selling the player for somewhere in the region of £40 million. Shockingly enough, because this player has a very high, you know, release clause. So it's interesting. That sounds like half the price. It's going to be very interesting. Polytech is going to have his say about that. It's going to because they have open conversations, but we know that Manchester United have been scouting the player. It's very interesting that they are interested in him as well. Will Manchester United make a move for the player? I hope so. I can say that, categorically, we know Manchester United needs a strong centre back. Who better than the ace that formerly our current manager, Ruben Amorim, and has, not at all dropped his standard even after the manager left, and he was a stalwart at the back for Sporting this season, also in the Champions League. I would think that, there might be some interest into coming to the Prem. All the players love to come to the Prem, as well as the fact that, Crystal Palace does have Europe this season as the FA Cup holders. But if Man United were to get themselves involved really aggressively and openly, I would certainly think that the player might be open to coming, reuniting with Ruben Amorim, but not just that, but coming to play for one of the biggest club, if not the biggest club in English history, Manchester United. It's going to be interesting, but let's keep it moving because there's some interesting talking points as well. There are some rumors swirling around that there's some interest coming in for Jadon Sancho, possibly, off to Spain or Italy. Let's see, because Juventus is said to be interested in the player. However, Napoli might be making a shift. This might be bad news for Manchester United fans who were thinking that maybe Garnacho might be going to Napoli, or maybe another player might be going to Napoli, because guess what? They are interested in Noah Lang. They have open talks for him. So it's going to be somewhere in the Premier League. There are certainly rumors that Chelsea is interested in Alejandro Garnacho, as well as Aston Villa. Currently, Newcastle are said to be distancing themselves from rumors that they were interested and trying to hold talks with Marcus Rashford's agent and brother about possibly bringing him to the Toon. It's going to be an interesting situation because there are lots of transfer rumors swirling around right now. They know Manchester United fans are quite desperate in this moment because, you know what, we've experienced a very shitty season. It's not been good by any means. And on top of that, lots of things are going wrong right now in the wrong moments for Manchester United and the players and the fans. We did not win the Europa League final. It's disappointing already. We want to get signings. We've only seen one player come through the door in Matthias Cunha. We're expecting Mbwemo. We're hoping for Gyokeres. There's talks of Etikite. Possibly Manchester United going to spend something in the region of 80 to 90 million pounds for the signing. How are we going to do this? What is the reason? Why aren't we getting Gyokeres? Why aren't we getting an Ousmane type senior striker who's done it before? But, Hayden, I need a break. My buddy, big up Bali Tech in the building, everyone in the chat. What are your thoughts? Let me know, my bro. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Obviously, in London, the weather's been crazy. So obviously, you know what that means, innit? Like, I don't need to talk too much. But other than that, what's this release clause for Diamande?
Well, it's said to be somewhere in the region of 80 million euros. But like I told you, the club is open to selling the player. He is tempted by the Premier League. And we know currently that Crystal Palace are making an offer within the region of 35 to 40 million pounds for the player.
35 to 40. Well, if it's 35 to 40, I think what we should be doing is allowing Crystal Palace to get some form of agreement that that price is good. And then Man United could come in and say, yup, here's 42 or 43 or whatever it is. And then just line the player up, in my humble opinion, because you can't let that type of player go to Palace. This is like Adam Wharton all over again. They signed Adam Wharton from the Championship, and now they want 70, 80 million pounds for him. And everybody's looking at that like, whoa, we ain't gonna pay that sort of money. So I personally think you can't let a defender like Diomande go to Crystal Palace, shine, and then now you start screaming that, oh, why didn't we get him when he was leaving Sporting, blah, 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 because that is what is going to happen. Mark my words. Yeah,
100%. 100%.
when he starts getting used to the Premier League and he starts shining, everyone's gonna be like, "Why didn't we sign him?" And he only went there for a reasonable fee. So I think we need to we like I'm surely they know that there's a chance. So I think we need to put some money onto him. To be fair, I can't lie, it's a no brainer for me. I didn't think we was gonna sign a centre back this summer, but I think if there was money for somebody else, then we might need to address that situation next season, unless it's like a top level wing back or someone coming into a position. When top level players become available, you just have to make funds available no matter what. So even if you gotta sell somebody to make it make sense, let's sell somebody to make it make sense.
I mean, I can't go wrong with that, Diomande. He's a monster of a defender. It's one of those interesting things that I would like to see Man United do. I mean, like, who's to say we're not playing possum to catch, birds alive, birds of prey alive. You know what I mean? When I say that, like, look at the instance with Napoli right now. They are trying to go in for Vanco, and they're worried that Manchester United is going to come in storming for the deal. I mean, they're trying to get a deal agreed for 18 million euros. Of course, that's 15.2 million pounds. I wouldn't mind waiting until, maybe we had some conversations with the players and his agent of what it would take to bring him to the club and what we are willing to put out for him. And maybe he was like, cool. And then we wait and see what happens. And, we probably tell him, listen, we're waiting for the club to agree a deal and we'll just come and hijack. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what we said to him. You never know. But also, if you look at the situation, maybe we could be doing the same with Diomande. Maybe, Ruben Amorim probably told Diomande, sit tight, we go let the clubs talk, and once Sporting agree a fee, we will come in for a slightly bigger fee, and swoop you in, and you'll just be like, yeah, I want to go to United. You never know how that works. He might not have the same pull with Gyokeres, or maybe Gyokeres has other things after promising, or maybe they had discussions and then Gyokeres had a change of heart. We don't know because there are lots of rumors going on right now, and not all of them are accurate because some rumors say Gyokeres told his family that he wants to go to Arsenal. Some rumors say that he said to his family he's going to Man United and honor the words that he had between his former manager. But who knows exactly what is actually true? There are reports that Arsenal have secured the signing or about to secure the signing of Benjamin Sesko. I don't think Benjamin Sesko would want to play second fiddle to Victor Gyokeres, nor do I think Victor Gyokeres wants to have to compete with Benjamin Sesko. So I think it's going to be one of the other. So let's see what happens in the transfer window. I would wait a few more days before I get my fingers crossed or stressed before, because the situation is sounding a little bit tricky. I would say to you all fans watching that there's a lot of people that are just running all sorts of reports because they got nothing better to do. You know what I mean? In my honest opinion, the transfer could only happen when the two clubs agree a fee. And, at that point, we get notice, we come and we talk to you about it. But every single day, the players coming, the players going, Spurs hijack, this hijack. It doesn't always work like that. You know what I mean, guys? I'm not trying to, I come out with the news as well, but you can only report the news with the best accuracy as possible. And that means that you can't always jump on a story because sometimes a story is just that story. It's not actually, the concrete issue that was happening. But there's lots of possible transfers from Manchester United. Of course, we know the Hugo Ekitite deal is a possibility. It's one of those things where Frankfurt might be open to payments over a period of time. And if that's our backup plan, if we don't get a Gyokeres or Victor Osimhen, so be it. Let the club do their work. You know what I mean, Bali?
I think with the Ekatike thing, I personally don't think he's gonna come good for the next 2 seasons. So, if we were to sign him, you basically got to be patient for 2 seasons. Or when I say be patient, I don't mean you wait for him to score like 20 goals in 2 seasons. I'm talking like in 2 seasons, he's meant to be playing like a guy that's on the cusp of being world class within 2 seasons. By the time he's 25, I'm expecting a stone cold killer. Um, because I don't really think he's a stone cold killer now. But he actually has wonderful foundations. Good dribbling ability, good link up play with teammates. I see a lot of tricks and flicks outside of the boot, through balls into the box. When he's in the box, I've seen him score quite a few headers through crowded in a crowded box. He seems to have a decent leap and he seems to be able to power headers past keepers. Um, so yeah, I think he's got a lot to his game that he brings, and I think he would definitely come good in the Prem. But I just think the physicality side of it, I think he hasn't got that there, and I don't really think Isak's physical either, but I think he's adapted his game to play in a way where he doesn't need to rely on his physical attributes. Plus, his whole team is physical. His whole team is
True.
ridiculously physical. So that plays into his hands. Um, so other than that, I would love. I don't mind the signing, but I prefer a striker that is ready now. The likes of Gyokeres, the likes of Victor Osimhen, the likes of Mateta, as maybe higher in the food chain. Um, I do like that idea of Meridian, but that's only because I believe he's already playing ahead of his years, even though he's what 21. He's playing ahead of his years. To me, he's one of the best young strikers in the world right now.
Who's that?
In terms of that,
Moridian?
yeah, in terms
Yeah,
of
he
that
is.
age range, I believe he's one of the best young strikers in the world. So I would take him ahead of Ekatike should he become available. However, I do really like Ekatike. His potential is sky high. He's in the same ballpark for me as somebody like a Sesko in terms
That's
of.
that's a very high praise there. I wouldn't even say that, and I rate Etikite, but I mean,
But the
Sesko is
thing is,
somebody who
there
had two back-to-back seasons plus 20 goals. I mean, Etikite coming off of 3 seasons where he barely got 5 goals before this season where he started scoring goals, which I think he did brilliantly well this season, to recover from, the difficulties of managing the trajectories of playing with PSG and then moving to the Bundesliga. So, in my honest opinion, I think Etikite is a very well-rounded striker, a good foundation, like you say, and he will probably be very good in the Premier League. I can't deny that or disparage that or even disagree with that statement.
I think the
But to
point
say
that
that
I'm
he's on
trying
the
to
level
make.
of a Benjamin Sesko, I can't really say that, bro.
You don't have to agree, but the point that I'm trying to make is that I don't think neither of them are the finished article, and I do think they're around about the same level. I don't think Sesko is head and shoulders above Ekatike. He might be head and shoulders above him in terms of his some of the finishes that he can do, but in terms of the other side of his game, like assisting your teammates and just the general dribbling, beating man 1-on-1, ball carrying, all this other type of things, linking up with. I don't think he's better than Ekatike at that side of the game, and
Probably not.
Ekatike has shown that he can score goals. So
This season, he has
even
for
even
certain.
yeah, this season when a man scores 22 goals and he gets 12 assists, that's nothing to be sniffed at. I don't care what a man
I'm
says.
not
Even if
saying no.
even if even if yeah, even if you take away, even if you do stuff like, I think someone said he scored 2 penalties, so you take away the 2 penalties. Then if you take away all the goals in the cup, yeah, I think he scored like 15 goals in the league. But so even if you take away the 2 penalties that he scored in the league and the other goals that he scored in the cup, he's still got a lot of GA or over 20 GA because he's got 12 assists. So this guy, he's had
Yeah,
a
but
beast of a season, regardless.
yeah, but
Re-
I mean, that's all well and good. That sounds great and all for me, like assists and stuff. But like, we want a striker. If you're buying a striker, you're buying a striker to finish goals. You're not buying a striker to assist nobody, because then it won't be a striker. If you
yeah,
understand what I'm saying, the
yeah, but I don't
definition of
see
a
the
striker is a
argument because
killer,
we've
a
already,
marksman, right?
yeah,
The
I
value,
don't see the
let
argument because we've already taken away. I'm talking about, I'm
no, no,
talking
no. I
about as
don't
a
mind.
player.
Listen, I'm not. I don't care whether it's penalties a man score. I don't care if it's in cups, because if a team playing four different competitions at the end of the season, if the player score 15, 20, 30 goals, all comps, this is how we rate his return. I don't rate a player return on the goals and assists he gets in one competition if his team playing in multiple competitions. That makes no sense to me. Yeah, I think that's benign, to be honest, because
No, no.
really and
Listen.
truly,
I think you're taking what I'm saying out of context. The only reason why I said if you take away this and you take away that, I'm just trying to highlight how much of a player that this
well,
guy actually is.
I agree with that,
Like
but
in
really,
theory, I would never take away any of Bruno's goals or whoever scored what. I'm just trying to highlight
yeah,
how
I
much of
get
a
that, but
player
it's
this guy
like,
is
for
in
me,
terms of a
I think
striker
that,
and an all round type of player perspective.
well, an all-round type of player is not what we need in a striker. And
Nah,
it's proven.
we
It's proven.
but
It's
it,
proven
but
because the
again,
market for
if you
strikers is
what did
dead.
Gyokeres do this season? What did he do?
Yeah, but that's not what we're talking about. You see,
No, but
because
I'm just asking a
Gyokeres
question.
is an
What did
experienced
Gyokeres
striker that
do
has
this?
done it for three
But
plus seasons. Yeah,
what
you
did
hear
he
me?
do? I'm just asking, what did he
Hold on.
do? What did he do?
Gyokeres, hold on. Gyokeres has been doing it for the last three seasons. So we
Again,
could
but what
understand
did
the
he do?
quality. Hear
I'm
me? Listen, hold
asking.
on.
I'm not disrespecting
Gyokeres,
Jokeres. I'm just asking, what
Gyokeres,
did he do?
no, I know
I'm
he
asking
has
for a
scored
reason.
goals, plus 60 goals this season. Last season was plus 40. The season before that was plus 30, right?
He
Now we
scored.
talking
I think.
about Gyokeres, who's been
Yeah.
contributing consistently for the last three seasons. So we could understand why we rate Gyokeres, why
Yeah,
we
yeah, but
definitely have
I'm
a certain
asking what
confidence
did
that he
I'm
will come into
asking
to the
the
Prem.
reason why
No,
there's a
but what
reason
I'm
why I asked this
saying,
question. There's a reason why I asked this question.
what's the reason?
That's what I'm saying. You're just going off.
No,
Yeah.
but no, I'm
I,
replying because I said we are
I,
trying to not overrate a player who had a good
nah,
season.
I'm not
Because
overrating nothing. I'm not.
basically,
Listen,
the,
I said he's not the finished article, man. Let's relax.
who?
Let's
But bro,
relax.
you said he not even the article and then
Let's
they talk
relax.
about Gyokeres and thing.
Why do
So I'm
people
like,
do? No. Why do
I'm like,
people do this? Why do people do this? Let's
no, bro,
relax.
you did this, bro.
No,
Don't
no,
move
I
like,
didn't
don't
do
pretend
nothing.
that you didn't do
I
this,
was
bro.
taking listen, I was taking away goals, brother. You're there talking
You
nonsense.
would make
Nah,
you,
you're there
bro.
talking, no, hold on,
You
hold on.
know it, bro.
Stop that, Bob. I'm not
But
overrating
anyway,
nobody.
but
Stop
anyway,
that.
right? But
Yeah. All I
anyway,
said is, what
on
did
a more,
wait, hold on. You can't just skip past this, yeah?
bro,
The
we
reason
going
why I
on.
mentioned
Let me go
Jokeres,
on. We talk
the
about
reason
Etikite
why I
long enough.
mentioned, hold on. The reason why I mentioned Jokeres, right? Is
Mm,
because yes, Gyokeres has got a high goal return, right?
mm.
But it's, not, it's the comparison is
Goals and assists.
Gyokeres has got a lot of assists as well, right?
Cool. I
So
get that
he
part. If you done
yeah,
this, we're not arguing on that part. I knew why
this
you
is
said that.
what makes this is what makes a person like that hot property because
I
They
get that,
even though they're scoring a hell of a lot of goals, they're also contributing to the team. They're not just greedy strikers scoring goals and forgetting about everybody else. They're also bringing their teammates into play. Strikers like that,
but
yeah, your teammates are going to love playing with them because your teammates are always going to want to set these guys up because they always return the favor as well. This is a
nah, bro.
team player. This is a team player. This is not
I
a
not
man
disputing that, bro.
thinking that, oh, if this guy's in a better position, if this guy's in a more optimal position to score, I'm gonna play him the ball. I'm not gonna
But that
be
should be
thinking,
natural,
let
though.
me
That should be
let me
natural,
try.
though.
But some players ain't like that. Some players want to
Well, I
take the shot
mean,
no matter what.
but
Some players want to take.
Man, them will still say they're the best players in Man United, though.
Nah, nah, we can't be doing that. And this is the
But man,
thing,
them will
yeah.
still say that, though. But
No, no,
the
no, no,
man,
no,
them
no,
been
no.
doing that this season, though. But anyway,
No, but
I,
I don't want to see players play like that. If a man
me
is in a
neither,
better
bro, because it's a
position,
team sport, and if we have to
exactly.
win as a team, I don't, bro. Listen, I so real, bro. As long as we create one team goal to get off the mark, a man could take 10 shots. If we lead in a game, Ganacho could take 15 shots. Ahmad could try to dribble 20 men and lose the ball 19 times. I don't care. You know why? Because we in the lead. But when we not in the lead, or we losing games and men them in better positions than these brothers and not passing, I think they're equally on shit. You know what I mean? For me, so for me, realistically, I look at it from a perspective that the team must score a goal so individual players can then shine. Because when we score as a team, then we in the lead. And then no matter if a player take 10 shots or 5 shots or he don't pass, we already have a goal up. You know what I'm saying? We have something to defend. So yeah, I totally agree with the team playing aspect of it, but I will still say the best strikers in the world is batsmen. There's not really the highest on the list for assists. So I really concern myself too much with that. If they have it, definite plus. Will agree with that. But
Yeah, but
now
that's what I'm saying. We can't. What when I added that to the conversation,
I know
this is
why already that you added Brewers, comparing him to Gyokeres and how Gyokeres contributes and that and to say well it would work in our system under Amorim. I get that part. But yeah, so it's not like I didn't understand why you did it. I was just like, yeah, didn't feel like it was all that necessary, in my
no,
honest opinion.
it's extremely necessary because this is what has helped a manager win the title multiple times. It is extremely necessary that we get similar to what was bringing the guy success in the first place.
Yeah, but
Because
at the end
me
of the day,
personally, he got brought to this club based off what he did before.
yeah, but
I
he had a
don't want.
coach too, bro.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, but
he
I
getting
don't
paid
want
to
to
coach,
see.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you're getting paid to coach. I don't care about all that. All I care is that you do what brought you in the door in the first place. The problem that Ten Hag had is that Ten Hag came to this club and he was unable to do the thing that he got signed for in the first place. Yeah,
But I
I
would say
want
that
this manager.
Amorim was incapable
Yeah,
as well,
well,
in a
yeah,
worse way,
whether
in
he's
a worse
incapable
way.
or yeah, yeah, that's cool. But whether he's incapable or he's not capable, what I want to see from him, and this is what I'm saying, what I want to see from him, I want to see what brought him to the club in the first place. Because
I hope
that
we
is
could
the
see that.
mistake that happened with Ten Hag. He
Well,
wasn't
yeah.
able, he wasn't
Well,
able
obviously,
to
because
bring
I don't think anybody would expect that Man United team that he inherited to suddenly play Ajax type football in 18 months. I think that would be
to a
ludicrous of
certain
anybody to
extent,
think.
it wasn't his fault. It's the way the club is run. Yeah. So I would never expect that certain man that we had at this club to play that sort of football. Yeah. However, yeah, now that we're supposed to be getting rid of a lot of players and bringing in players, and we're supposed to have a fairly high turnover of players and things of that nature, I'm expecting to see Ruben Amorim ball. I'm expecting to see his stamp and his style of play. That's what the fans want to see. The fans don't want to see this guy who came to our club in January come to this club and play some next style of football that he never
in no
came to the
in
club. He
November.
never got he never got brought to the club to play a different football. He got brought to play what he was playing over there, and that's what I want to see. Or else we might as well just sack him now. If he
I
if
don't know,
he
bro.
if he can't play his football, yeah, they're gonna buy him a certain amount of players. They've already been playing. They've already tried to play his football, and fair enough, they didn't play the football the way it was meant to be played. So he said the major problem is the attack, which they seem to be addressing. Fair enough. There might be still room in the kitty for a midfielder, maybe a centre back, maybe a wing back, maybe a goalkeeper. We don't know what all the plans are going forward apart from the attack. However, from that first section of the season, yeah, I want to see Ruben Amorim style football. I
I
want to
hope.
see it. And at least within you've got at least the first half of the season to show me that you not that I'm sacking him, but I'm saying you got at least the first half of the season to show me that the team can play your football or attempt to play your football. I don't want to see any attempting to play something else. The minute you start going down that path, that you're playing football that you weren't playing in sporting, then yeah, I'll just slowly start switching off. Because I not that I'll switch off watching the game. I mean, I'm switching off from the management because
Yeah, but
that's not what he got signed for. That's not what he got signed for. He
it's
got
gonna be a
signed. He got signed to play a certain style of play, and you got to play it.
yeah, you gotta get results as well. And
This,
it's a
this is the
first the
stick that they
first
beat Ten Hag with. This is the stick. So
Yeah, well, bro, but they also beat Ten Hag with the stick that he had to play his style and he had to get results at the same time. But all of a sudden, this manager just had to play his style. He don't need to get results. This is why we finished 15th. This is why we lose our
exactly,
cup final. And no one wants to say any criticism about Ruben Amorim. Now, in my honest opinion, I believe that all those signings that you think might be possible would have been possible if we had the extra 200 plus million that would have come from winning the Europa League and being in Champions League. You know, because they'd get money for winning the Europa League and they'd get money for entering the Champions League. And of course, the 141 million headroom probably would have doubled to 241 million. And we wouldn't be so leaning towards having to sell to buy after we probably sign Mbwemo. Because when people don't realize, you know, not every single club is going to want to take, you know, part payment. Some clubs want their money up front. You know what I mean? And you can't be mad at a club that wants their money up front. So if a club is so the deal takes long because Man United are forced to negotiate a bigger fee, but to pay installments because guess what? They didn't get the money that they expected to get because the manager basically failed, in my honest opinion. When it came to the Europa League final, he failed that game. But at the same time, I agree with Balitek. I am one of those persons that I back Ten Hag, but I would also back this manager, and he has to get the players that he need to do the best possible job that he can deliver for the fans. And it's an honest situation, and let's be honest, guys. Let's be honest. Yeah. This club, the structure of best in class that they talk about, they need to prove that this summer. They need to securely sign Evan Bremo. They need to get one of either Benjamin Sesko, Victor Gyokeres, or Osimhen to come in this summer as a striker because we need a senior batsman who will get the job done. We don't need another developing player. And of course, Etikite is probably more well-rounded than Hoyland. But he definitely is also a developing player. And we already have 4 to 5 of them in the team besides Hoyland and Garnacho. Yeah. So we need some senior players to come in who could do the job right now because I don't know if anyone noticed, but the fixture list is quite difficult, yeah? You know what I mean? And it's one of those situations where if you look at it from my perspective, that first 10 games could be a monumental situation. It could be a better start than next season, one way, if we get these signings right, or it could be even worse than last season. Yeah. Because last season we were 4 points off top four, yeah, in 14th, but that was because it had like several clubs tied on the same amount of points, you know. And now we playing Liverpool, Man City, Tottenham, we playing Arsenal and Chelsea and stuff like that in the first 10 games of the season. Liverpool, yo, it's a difficult first 10 games they give to Amorim. This is make or break. And the summer is not forever. It's already June. Yeah. This guy needs his signings in ASAP. They're looking to do the same thing they did to Ten Hag. They only signed one player or two players in the actual summer, and the only one was available for preseason was Lenny Euro. I don't know if fans remember, but the season began and we had played 3 games before we got Mazraoui and Delit. Then we played a fourth and a fifth game before Ugarte arrived. You understand? So, and Jotro Xerxes, well, he was still trying to be fit off of coming back from, playing at the Euros. It's going to be really, really weird, bro. It's going to be really, really weird, bro. Where you say you in Hamburg? German party. I'm in Hamburg. Come and meet me. I got your hot chip. Hamburg, bro, that's like 5, 6 hours from where I am, bro. Not today. When you there until and then? How long you there? Let me know. Any chat, bro. So what I'm saying is, Bali, in closing, like, there's a lot of interesting signings that we could possibly do. I talked about, EMi Martinez is one of those things that reports are saying that he wants to move from Manchester United. There's some reports stating that Manchester United have actively made some inquiries about him. There's some reports that we have made inquiries about Donnarumma as well. I can only say that, Manchester United are in the market for a goalkeeper, but there are several goalkeepers that we are looking at. We were also looking at Joan Garcia, but he was signed. We're looking at, as I said, Vanya, Milinkovic, Savic. Let's maybe Saturday, and then I'll give you a shout tomorrow. Yeah. So it's an interesting one because there are possibilities for the goalkeeper, but again, the clubs, the fees, all these things are going to play a part. And again, I will say to you guys, don't be shocked if Man United is to make a few hijacks because we might as well allow clubs to agree a fee so we could kind of lock the selling club into a range so that they don't take us through the market. So we'll see how it goes. You know what I mean? Big up to everybody. And any last words from you, my bro?
Yeah, man. Um, like I said earlier, hopefully we can get like a Gyokeres or Ousmane or Mateta as the
No.
main targets before we start trying to sign development strikers, in my humble opinion. Um, yeah, I mean, Emi Martinez, what can I say? I don't really rate him, to be honest with you. I don't really think he'll do that. However, he is a good penalty goalkeeper. He is a bit of a shit house, and that's as far as it goes. That's what I like about him: his shithousery and his penalty stopping. The rest of it, I just think he's a mid goalkeeper, and I think the problem is, I think people just think, yeah, just replace Onana with anyone, right? And even though I don't rate the keeper, I don't rate what we've seen from him. I don't think we should replace him with a mid goalkeeper unless they're both going to be fighting for number one. I don't think
That
we should be replacing him with a mid because to me that's like kicking the can down the road. You got two shit goalkeepers fucking fighting for number one. How's that gonna fucking help us? Especially if he's being quoted at 40 million.
100%, bro. This is the weirdest shit. Too shit. It's like the analogy I would make is like, you want to sell, you want to buy garbage, yeah, and get rid of shit because, what I mean, the garbage just smells slightly better than the shit. That's basically how I looking at them two goalkeepers, bro. People could be mad at me for saying that, but I just genuinely feel that those two goalkeepers, they're not the best shot stoppers in the world in terms of open play. And what we need, like I would love us to get to bring Radmal Vitek back or go in for the likes of the reports in Portugal state that, Ruben Amorim's prime goalkeeping target is actually the same target that Ten Hag wanted, you know, Diego Costa. And I'm looking forward and hoping maybe that might just be true. Now Diego Costa might cost a bit of a penny, but hopefully Saudi comes in for an or two. You know what I mean? So yeah, the other interesting things I would say is that Madueke to Arsenal, interesting. Didn't see that one coming. And then money in the bank, bro. What can we say? Yo, and then send me a location on WhatsApp now, bro. That way maybe I could try to figure out how to get there as well. You know what I'm saying? We'll see how it goes. But on another note, yeah, what are your thoughts on Antony returning to Manchester United, possibly for a season until January?
I mean, I don't mind it. I'm not against it. I'm not against it because he had a good season and he stepped up. So if that means he can play with his bestie and want to step up as well, his bestie in Cunha, then maybe. Like, because at the end of the day, what's the point of helping out Real Betis? It's not like Anthony's abject trash. He's shown that he can play football to a reasonable level. He's shown that he could be a talisman in a team if needed. In the past, when he first came, he's shown that he can be a big player in big games. The goals against Barcelona, the goals against Liverpool, the goals against Man City. So he showed that he can score against big teams as well. So if he did come back and he did stay, I mean, I'm not trying to write him off because I know what he can bring when given a chance. And I know that his work rate is pretty good as well. So, worst comes to worst, we just have someone who can provide us a service and do a job for us.
100%. Yeah, there's some interesting reports coming out about, there's a possibility that Anthony might be back in the squad next season. There's a possibility that, Jadon Sancho will be moving on. It might be Bayern Munich as they are in for a left-sided winger and have been rebuffed multiple times by none other than Nico Williams. There's also some reports there's some interest coming in from Juventus, who have also seen some moves for a winger also rebuffed as I guess, they had a player for last season and now he's leaving. But let's see how that goes. What I can say is there might be a shock move on the cards from Man United. We'll see how it happens. Of course, there's always interest in Mateta. There have been before the window opened, and there's still interest in Mateta, who does not seem like he's interested in leaving Crystal Palace this season, but there's also some interesting things that are in rumors circulating that Man United are also looking at the likes of Moise Keane at, I believe he plays at, is what, Inter Milan?
I think it's Florentina. I could
It,
be wrong,
or
but I think,
Fiorentina. I think it's
yeah.
Fiorentina. Yeah, I could have been wrong. It was I believe it's Fiorentina. But there are some reports coming in that Man United have inquired about Moise Keane. So it's not my first choice. It's not my second choice or my third choice, but it's an interesting striker, very physical, tall, strong, can get the job done. And let's see how it goes. I think, this is a summer where
I
this
think there's
structure
another
needs to.
Nigerian striker as well in the Belgium league.
Yeah, there's another
I,
young Nigerian striker in the Belgian league. I can't remember his name though, but we will be bringing those information to you guys tomorrow. Yes, Kevin Donovan, we agree. He has picked Manchester United, so there's no chance for Tottenham. I have said this at the beginning, my bro. Big up to you and big up to everyone else watching. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe if you're new, guys. Your boy Marken will be live a little bit later on as well as Trinidad take on Haiti in the Gold Cup, I will be up late. So big up to everyone. And if you can join me, join me. If not, you know how it is. Catch you guys later and have a great evening. It's been your boy, and we will see you guys on another time. Of course, there'll be more transfer news to come, so stay tuned. Tomorrow, we'll be here.